Hello, and welcome to Candidates Up Front. This is a public interest program of Berks Community Television and the League of Women Voters of Berks County. I'm Judith Cranis. Our November 4th municipal election is coming up, and voters will be selecting judges, school directors, township officials, borough officials, city officials, and these officials affect a lot of things in our lives. Most importantly, they decide how our tax dollars are spent. That's important to all of us. So if you are eligible to vote and you are not registered, please register by the deadline of October 20th. You can do that at the Berks County Services Center, which is on Court Street in downtown Reading, or you can do it online. Online, please make sure you are using the official site for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Search for PA.gov, that's PA and then that little period, and then gov, and then go to the search bar and put in voting, and that will take you to the website. You can check your voting status, you can register to vote, you can change your party, you can locate your polling place, or you can apply for an absentee or a mail-in ballot. And the deadline to apply for that mail-in ballot is October 28th. Now, let me just note that that doesn't give you a lot of time to receive it and get it back, so I would do it earlier. Everyone who cares how their money is spent needs to participate. And it helps if you've met the candidates. And that's why the League is interviewing candidates, those who wanted to be interviewed, and only in the contested races. For each race, the candidates will get the same basic questions and will have the same amount of time to answer them. So let's begin.
Hello, I'm John Morgan, a member of the League of Women Voters of Berks County. The featured office today is Reading City Council. Council members act on legislation, set the budget, and confirm appointments of the city manager and members of boards. They need to have lived in their district 1 year prior to the primary election and must retain residency in their district. They serve part-time for a 4-year term. The salary is $8,000. There are 2 candidates in District 4, Democrat Ray Baker and Republican Gary D. Colby. You may vote for one. District 4 is Northeast Reading. Each candidate's views are their own and not those of the League or BCTV. Today, our candidate is Gary D. Colby. Welcome.
Yeah. Thank you, John. Pleased to be here.
Good to have you. Please tell us why you believe it is important for you to serve on Reading City Council.
I believe I've got a wealth of experience in helping complex organizations to solve complex problems. For over 30 years, I've been working with corporations, governments, the federal, state, and local governments, and with universities and with private individuals to solve mostly economic problems, but real world problems that have tough solutions. And I'm willing and frankly kind of enthusiastic to share that expertise with the city of Reading, where I've decided to live for the rest of my life. Okay. One more little piece is, since I've moved to Reading about 3.5 years ago, I really haven't had any city government folks reach out to me. And I think in a representative democracy, that's not ideal. I really want to be a candidate who gets out there and talks to people and lets everybody know what's going on. So that's what I hope to do in office.
All right. What skills would you bring to this office?
Well, like I say, I've been a problem solver for 30 years. I was initially trained as an engineer, went into the natural scientists. I'm a biotechnologist. Then I went to law school. And so for 30 years, I have been helping people diagnose what their problems are, figure out solutions for solving them, and then helping them to implement those solutions. And I think I can apply that experience. It's really a process rather than particular knowledge. I think I can use that problem-solving ability here in Reading to help our city get past a lot of problems it has and wants to avoid.
All right. What is your personal philosophy about public service and the role of council?
Well, my my overriding concern in a legislative office like this one is to represent the people. And like I say, I've not had anyone in the past several years ask me, hey, I'm representing you, what do you think? Let me tell you what's coming up, and I want to hear what you think about it. And I want to be that politician who's in your inbox every week and who's walking around the neighborhood and who you can walk up to my door and say, hey, I want to talk to you about this, and as long as I'm home, I'll talk to you about it. So I really want to be a representative who represents everyone in this district. And even though I'm running as a member of one political party that I've been a member of for 40 years, I want to represent everyone and represent them equally.
All right. What should City Council do in the long and short term to improve the governance and quality of life in Reading?
Well, over the long term, we've got to stay within our budget and raise and spend money wisely. And in the relatively short term I've been here, I've had some questions about whether we're really spending our money wisely. I've seen a lot of projects that seem kind of not fully thought through, to say the least. And I think with more planning and more input from the population, we're going to get a lot better projects. And in the short run, I don't think people of Reading are used to talking to their public officials too much, and I really would like to change that.
That's interesting. All right. Have the people of District 4 advised you about any priority projects or policies they would like City Council to adopt?
Well, it seems like every door I go to, there's something different. But I mean, that's exactly what I'm after. Only by hearing this broad range of public opinions can you really start to synthesize, hey, what are all these people getting at? You know, everybody's got their own little view of, if things were just this way, I think it'd be a little better. But when you get a couple hundred of those views, you start to see patterns. You start to say, hey, you know what? People are seeing their own little individual issues, but when I hear them all together, I'm hearing a bigger issue. And then when you go back and you talk to them and you say, hey, you know what? I think this is, when you're telling me your issue, I think this is what you're really talking about. Sometimes they'll say no, but a lot of times they'll say, yeah, I think you're kind of onto it. So I hope to be able to do that.
All right. What are your thoughts on going forward with the city ice skating rink at City Park?
Well, this is one of those projects I think was not maybe fully thought through. I understand they kind of sprung it almost by surprise on one neighborhood park. The people who are already using the park said, hey, what are you guys doing? What are you doing here? What are you doing to our park? I don't have a sense for how many people want an ice park and whether the existing ice park that I understand has been available at a commercial facility is going to do the job. But I don't think there's really been that outreach to hear, is this what we want to spend a couple $100,000 on and maybe have breakdown in a couple of years. Let's think this one through before we try to rush it into practice, I think.
All right. Economic development. What do you believe are the most effective community and economic development strategies the city can undertake in the next few years?
Well, this is one, I started off telling you I've been doing this for 30 years. I'm mostly, I started off as a patent attorney, which is all about economics. People make inventions and the patent laws are supposed to help people, it's supposed to give inventors a reward for their invention. So everything about patent law is kind of about money. And when you go from money for an inventor, you know, the way it happens is through a company, and the companies have to be able to see a way through their investment to get to profitability. And when city government is too unpredictable or stands in the way of developers reaching a profitable development, the developers just aren't going to invest. They're going to say, I'm going to go someplace where the business climate's a little friendlier and I can be more sure that I'm going to make money on this project. So if we're going to draw more business and more tourism and more everything else to Reading, we've got to be predictable We've got to have sensible rules, and we can't have too much red tape getting in the way of people who want to bring us economic development. They're going to invest their money. It's only right they make some profit in the end if they're doing good. And so we need to run our government to bring in those good projects and reward the people who help us do it.
Right. What is your view on what makes an effective law enforcement and community policing program for the city of Reading?
Well, I've lived all up and down the East Coast. Boston, it was actually one of the favorite places I lived. And there, the police force was really, I mean, they weren't quite your buddies, but you really got to know the police officers. They made a real effort to get out in the community. You knew some of them by name, but you knew they were going to be there. And you knew if there was a problem or something that you weren't even quite sure. You could go talk to, the guy with the short hair and out to here a little bit, because you knew he was a police officer, you knew he's friendly. But I'm sorry, to get back to your question though, we really need to establish that link between the people of Reading and our police department. And in a city where Spanish is so prevalent, the Spanish language that is, we need to try to encourage Spanish proficiency in the police department as well. I think that'll help the people and the police figure out they're on the same side.
All right. Please tell us your view on the effectiveness of the current city budget process and what measures are most important to maintain the financial health of the city.
Well, easily the most important thing to do to maintain your financial health is not overspend and not waste money on projects that are going to require future money to fix them. So, like I was saying before, thinking through your projects before you get them started is going to go a long way towards overspending. Because every project, even the well thought through ones, that's harder to say than it seems, you're sometimes going to have some costs you didn't realize. And the less you think them through, the greater those unexpected costs tend to be. So thinking through your projects up front is really going to keep your costs down. And once people trust and believe that you're going to think through your projects, and when you go to them and say, hey, you know what, we need some more tax dollars, you're going to get less resistance if people think that this money is going to be well spent than if they're going to think instead this is going to be one more boondoggle, that's going to be more money, after bad money again and again.
Okay. How should the city go about recruiting citizens to serve on public boards, authorities, and other public bodies?
Well, this kind of gets back to my opinion on getting out to the people. Not the people who officially represent the people, like city councilmen. They absolutely have to be out with people, understanding them. But to get people involved with the government, they've got to feel it's their place. They've got to feel it's not those guys over there running our city. It's my elected officials who are willing to listen to me and who invite me in and have events where I can show up, and maybe I don't get to talk all the time, but at least afterwards, after the event, we all get filled in on what's going on, and we get our voices heard. And when you draw in the public like that, and you get them believing that this is our government and not the government over there, you're going to get a lot more participation. People are going to say, I like what this government's doing, I don't like that part, I want to get involved and fix that. And I think that's how you're going to draw people in.
Is there anything new the city can do to increase public participation and decision-making, particularly in light of the changes in how citizens get information and communicate with public officials?
Well, I mean, again, I don't want to harp on the same topic again and again, but I think the outreach is critical. People need to understand and believe that you're talking to them and you want them to talk back. I'm no social media expert, but I'm an old email guy. I'm almost 60 now, and email's my favorite medium for expression. But I understand there's a lot going on in social media, and it's a good way to get people involved with one another and with organizations. And I'm not the one to lead the effort, but I think an effort can be made by the city to say we're going to have more social media outlets where we not only tell you what's going on, maybe in kind of a cool social media-y way, but we're going to get feedback from you to us, the city government, but also to each other. We're going to become more of a big neighborhood, or a big audience. I don't know if that's quite the word, but we want your input. We want you involved. We are one big city together.
Is there anything special you would like to achieve during your term in office?
I would love to finish my term with people saying, boy, that guy over-communicated. I never had to wonder what was going on in city council. I never heard in the news that, not to pick on them, but an ice rink showed up in a park and nobody knew about it. Or, we decriminalized marijuana, and where on earth did that come from? We always knew what was going on. I would love for everyone in District 4 to say, I didn't always like what was happening, and I sometimes wanted to stop it, but I always knew what was happening. And it was that funny-looking guy that told me.
What are your ideas to make Reading a more attractive place to do business?
Well, again, I think getting rid of not only the red tape, but the perception of red tape. We've got our new CRIS program. That's going to make some funds available that over time especially, where we can attract business. We can say, hey, you know what, that profit motive that we want you to have, and we want you to get fulfilled in Reading, we've got some funds to make that happen. And you know what, we're not only that, but we're going to try to help you get there. We're turning our city into a big fun neighborhood, and we want you to come in and be part of it, and the people are going to embrace you if you come, and you'll be financially rewarded to boot.
All right. Please give us your closing statement.
Well, I would really welcome the opportunity to be able to apply myself in the place I plan to stay the rest of my life, and to use everything I've learned in my life and everywhere I've lived to make Reading a better place. And one thing I intended to mention as well is for the past 3.5 years I have been studying Spanish as well, and so I'm hopeful that I can speak well enough that even native Spanish speakers will be able to speak to me directly instead of through translators. And I would really love for District 4 to finish up in 4 years from now and say, we really feel like we're part of the city government and we know what's going on, and whoever the next guy is going to be, or next guy or gal is going to be, we hope they keep it up.
All right, well, thank you, Gary D. Colby, for sharing your views with us. Viewers, please remember there's another candidate for Reading City Council District 4, Ray Baker. You may vote for one. So, the municipal election is November 4th. On your ballot will be candidates for local judges, county offices, school directors, and township, borough, and city officials. And there are questions on whether local and state judges should serve another term. It's called retention. You, the voter, are hiring people for specific jobs. Job descriptions for all the positions on the ballot are on the League's online voters guide, vote411.org. At vote411.org, type in your address. It will show everyone on your particular ballot along with information the candidates have provided. Vote 411 is safe. It does not store your address. If you are voting in person, polls are open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. If there is a line of waiting voters at 8 p.m., the Polls will stay open until all have voted. If you're voting by mail, you must apply for your ballot by October 28th, and completed ballot must reach Election Services at the County Services Center in downtown Reading by 8 p.m. on Election Day, November 4th. There will be 3 county drop boxes. Details, when available, will be on our league website, lwvberks.org. If you're mailing your ballot, allow at least 7 days to assure it arrives safely. Thank you.